fast, perhaps it's smooth, perhaps it's shallow, somewhere in between. But however the breath cadence is like, as always, we'll sync up cadence together through 3 cleansing rounds of breath. We'll start off on a clean slate with a deep exhale, empty out all the air. And then 3 together, fill up all the way towards the bridge. Take a deep inhale, fill it from the very, very base of your belly. And then open mouth, exhale, let it go. These 2 more just like this. Deep inhale into the lungs, expand your rib cage. And then open mouth, exhale. Here's 1 more. Deep inhale into the chest, collarbones, head. And open mouth, exhale. And if setting an intention as a part of your practice, go ahead and do that now. And you can always think about this as your motivation for being here. It could also be a dedication or thought, phrase, word, feeling of action. And I want you to take a moment just to acknowledge whatever it is that you're needing or wanting out of this practice. And at the same time, allow this practice to be of supportive service to you, especially through times of uncertainty, anxiety, stress. So just allow this practice to be of service to you. And whatever your intention might be alongside your breath, allow it to guide your practice. Begin to bring your attention towards the top of your mind. And we'll share our collective intentions through 1 more round of breath together. Deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Whenever it feels right, blink the eyes open. Thanks. All right, so we'll still continue to hang out in this seat. And then as you are in this seat, start to sit really tall, but bring your knees out really wide, soles of the feet to touch. And I'm not expecting any kind of grip or anything like that, but just actively press your feet together. Now at the same time, feel as if your knees were passively coming towards the ground here. And then just allow the inner hips, the groins, just to open up ever so slightly. And if it feels good, you can start to hinge at your hips just a little bit. If this is feeling pretty intense, then hands can always come behind you, broaden through the chest. Yeah, whatever feels good here. Let's take 1 more big breath. And then slowly come back towards center. And then both legs will come out to opposite ends of your mat, the room, however you were oriented. And think about allowing the pelvis to tilt down just a bit. So if you're working with tighter hips, take a small bend into your knees. If you have something that you can prop your hips up onto, that would be cool as well. And once more, either hands behind your hips or any amount of hinge into your hips. Beautiful. Thanks. So just targeting through the inner hips. Those tend to get pretty tight as we sit, stand, doing a whole lot of nothing. Beautiful. All right, take 1 more breath here. And then go ahead and bring your legs back towards center. And then start out with both feet on the mat. And then sit really, really tall. Lean back ever so slightly. Option to hang out here or begin to elevate your heels. Allow the shins to be parallel. Hands can reach forward. Take 1 more big breath here. And then come back. Nice. Feet will be really, really wide. We'll go through the sequence just 1 more time. Rather, feet will be together, knees really wide. My apologies. And then either you're hinging at your hips any amount, or you're walking your hands back, just allowing the chest to be broad. 1 more smooth breath. Beautiful. Legs will come out to opposite ends of the room. So Upavishta Konasana, seated wide, angled forward bend. Again, any amount of bending to your knees that you need to do, or elevate your hips. Either hinge ever so slightly, or hands behind your hips, just support your spine. Take 1 more deep breath here. And then once more, come back towards center. Allow both legs to come close together, and then lean back just a bit. So option to hang out here. You can always support yourself with hands behind your hips. Or the second option, did so, you'll elevate your feet, your shins, allow them to be roughly parallel towards the ground. So feel your heart lift up towards the ceiling. Nice, one more deep breath. Beautiful. This time you'll come into a cross-legged seat. So your left shin will be on in closer towards your body, and then right shin will be in front. So they're not stacked yet. And then any amount of hinge into your hips. So if you know you're working with tighter hips, you'll find that the right knee will be a little higher, or perhaps the left knee will be a little higher. That's totally okay. And then from here, you just want gentle movement from left to right. You're getting into the outer hips ever so slightly. All right, and then slowly make your way back up towards center. And then we'll switch. Right shin will be a little closer towards you, and then left shin will be in front. So again, they're not on top of each other, but just one in front of the other. Hinge at your hips any amount. And then gentle movement from left, right, right, left. Make your way back towards center. We'll do this one more time. So right shin in front, left shin on top. Now this time you have the option to stack your right shin on top. That works for you. Or is really, really high up, I recommend that you keep the right shin in front. And then again, any amount of hinge into your hips. So it doesn't have to be something super intense, especially if the body is not working with you right now. Just be reasonable with yourself. We'll take one more big breath, just rocking left, right, right, left. And then slowly rise all the way back up. And then we'll switch. So either left shin in front or left shin on top of the right shin. And then any amount of hinge and same gentle movement, swaying from left, right, right, left. Just feeling the outer hips. Beautiful. All right, slowly make your way back towards center. And then reach both arms out in front of you, kind of like you're a zombie. And then once here, stack your right elbow up and over your left. Either backs of both palms touch, double cross at your wrists, or give your shoulders a big old hug here. And then I want you to bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. So feel the shoulder blades far, far away from each other. It's like your heart wants to shoot towards the back of the room. And you take a big inhale breath. Start to reach your elbows all the way up towards the ceiling. So your chest will lift a bit. And then on your exhale, vertebra by vertebra, draw your elbows in towards your navel as you tuck your chin in towards your chest. Now we'll do two more just like this. Reach the elbows all the way up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, begin to curl them round. Really nice. One more. Inhale, elbows reach all the way up. And then exhale, curl them round. Beautiful. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Nice. Undo the bind in your arms. And then take your right hand behind your right hip. Reach up through the left ring finger. Lengthen first. Then on your exhale, you'll twist on over to the right. Take your left hand. Lightly place your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Gaze past your right shoulder if that's okay with your neck. But as you are here, I want you to press the ground away from you actively so the spinal column stays really, really long. And then at the same time, you're trying to track your right shoulder back behind you. Use your left hand as leverage to lightly pull on your right thigh. Just take one more smooth breath. And then release that, come back towards center. Both arms reach out in front of you. Okay, so this time it'll be left elbow stacking on top of the right. So you have the same options, either backs of both palms touch, double cross at your wrists, or give your shoulders a big old hug. Yeah, beautiful. You got it, Drake. Okay, start to reach the elbows in line with the shoulders. Then when you're ready, elbows track all the way up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, begin to curl them round. We got two more just like this. Reach the elbows all the way up. And then exhale, curl them down.
No, this girl I know is teaching digital yoga.
One more. Inhale, reach the elbows all the way up. And then exhale, curl them round. Okay. Inhale, rise all the way back up. So undo the bind in your arms. And then reach up first, lengthen. Left hand behind your left hip. And then you'll take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. So same twist, same actions. I want you to press the ground away from you, lift up through the crown of your head, and then with your right hand, you're using that as leverage. Lightly pull on your left thigh, gaze past your left shoulder if that's okay with your neck. Beautiful. Take one more big breath. And then make your way back towards center. Nice. Go ahead and transition to all fours, your tabletop position. So allow the shoulders to stack over the wrists and hips to draw over the knees. So this won't be cow-cat. The goal here is to get into the upper back. So it's scapular raises and depression, elevations and depression. So what you'll do is you'll just allow your chest to sink down. So it's almost as if the shoulders want to touch your ears. And then on your exhale, you'll press the ground away from you. Feel the shoulder blades separate. So notice the pelvis isn't moving. Allow your shoulders, rather your chest to dip down, shoulders to shrug towards your ears. And then press the ground away from you. Feel the upper back broaden. And just go through a few more rounds like this. Keep your arms straight so they're not bending with you. And then just allow the chest to drop. And then as you press the ground away from you, chest will come a little further away from the mat. So you can kind of think about this as if you were seated and you were holding something, you're just trying to bring it out in front of you and then sucking your arms back in towards your shoulder sockets. That same kind of action here. So the difference between this and cow-cat is that your pelvis is moving with you. And then the spinal column is also doing the same. Here, nothing's going on with the lower half of the body. It's just focusing and isolating the shoulders. So a few more times just like this, allowing the chest to drop. Let's do one more. All right, now we'll switch into cow-cat. So inhale for drop your belly, raise your gaze, sit bones lift up, chest broad. And then exhale, cat pose. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, navel up and in. Beautiful. Inhale for cow. And exhale, cat. A few more just like this. And then we'll get into the side body. So anything that feels good here, go for it, add it. I like to wag my hips from left, right. Right, left. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and wrap up your last round. And then neutral tabletop. So feel almost as if your navel is touching your spine. Keep the low belly engaged here. And then once you are here, tuck your toes, draw the hips up and back, find downward facing dog. Take a moment to bend one knee, bend the other, allow the hips to wag from left, right, right, left a few times. And then any amount of hinge into your hips, go for that. So I want you to take inventory of the entire back body. So noticing the backs of the legs, the arms, the shoulders. All right, from here, neutral downward facing dog. And go ahead and walk your feet in about a footprint or so you have a really shortened down dog. I want you to bend into your right knee, and then you'll pick up your left hand, grab anywhere to the outside of your right leg. So let me orient myself. So you'll bend into the right knee, take your left hand, grab anywhere to the outside. And as you press the ground away from you, gaze past your right shoulder. Nice, gently undo this, switch, bend into your left knee, pick up your right hand, grab anywhere to the outside. Beautiful. Slowly undo that and then normalize your down dog stance. Once you come in towards your normalized down dog, go ahead and bring your gaze forward. And then exhale, feet to meet your hands. Separate your feet about outer hips with distance. If you have a book or a block or anything like that, if you're a small person with short arms like me, you might need to utilize a block or a book underneath. From here, you'll bend your right knee deeply and then tent up through the fingertips or place your palm onto a block. Option 1, hand to your low back. Option 2, reach the left palm all the way up towards the ceiling. Or option 3, you'll start to bring your left hand all the way around, nestle it in towards the right hip crease. So opening up through the chest, keeping it broad. And then you have the leverage by pressing the ground away from you to draw the left shoulder a little further back. Nice, one more breath. And then undo it, switch. Bend into your left knee. Either tent up through the left fingertips, palm to a block book. Option 1, right hand to your low back. Option 2, right fingertips elevate. Or option 3, you'll create a half bind. Left hand snakes all the way around towards the left hip crease. And then once more, as you press the ground away from you, this gives you the leverage to draw the right shoulder a little further back. So you got one more big breath. And then slowly undo it. Yes. Draw both feet as close as comfortable to touch. Hands to your hips. Squeezing through the inner thighs, low belly. Rise all the way with a really, really long spine. Come all the way to standing. Head, neck, shoulders arrive last. Next, take a big inhale. Shrug your shoulders all the way up towards your ears. And then on your exhale, let it go. Really nice. One more. Inhale, shoulders shrug all the way up. And then open mouth, exhale. Thanks. We'll start off with a few half salutations. So inhale, draw your arms all the way up and overhead, upward facing salute. And then exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Nice. Halfway lift, look forward, long, long spine. And then exhale, deepen the fold. Really nice. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling, press through both feet. Then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, hinge at your hips. Nice, halfway lift, long, long spine. And then exhale, fold forward. Beautiful, once more. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling, press through both feet. Nice, exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. So you got a halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. This time, hands flat, step back, high plank. Just take a big inhale, breath, sustain your plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Set up for your cobra, Bhujangasana. So lift just your chest. You have very, very little weight in your hands. At the same time, you're trying to drag your palms towards your rib cage and feel as if your rib cage wants to slide forward. On your exhale, slowly undo all that tension. Begin to tuck your toes and use the inhale breath to press up either to a tabletop or plank. Exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take a deep inhale breath. Smooth exhale breath. And then inhale, set your gaze forward. And exhale, feet to meet your hands top of your mat. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling, press through both feet. And then exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Really nice. Halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. And then exhale, hands flat. Step back, high plank once more. Nice, big inhale, breath, hold your plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Nice, this time you'll set up for Shalabhasana Locust. Arms sweep back behind you. Use the inhale breath, lift your arms, chest, legs this time. So everything that'll lift is lifted, and then think about drawing everything towards the center line of your body. So if I were to cut you in half, you're trying to meet that line. One more breath here. And then gently undo it. Palms near your shoulders, tuck your toes. And then press up either to a tabletop or plank. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Big inhale breath. And smooth exhale breath. Really nice. Inhale, gaze forward. And then exhale, feet to meet your hands, top of your mat. Really nice. Halfway lift, long, long spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Nice. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling, press through both feet. Really nice. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Nice. You got a halfway lift, look forward, lengthen, long, long spine. And then exhale, hands flat, step back, one more high plank. Nice. Big inhale, big inhale to press the ground away from you. And then on your exhale, lower all the way down. So I'll have you set up for something called Sphinx pose. So elbows will come underneath your shoulders. So if you visualize those sphinxes in Egypt, that's you right now. Collarbones broad. Feel the shoulder heads pull back just a bit as you press the ground away from you. And then take a big inhale breath, gaze forward. First we'll go towards a modified forearm plank. So come to your knees. On your exhale, you'll curl your chin in towards your chest. With control, lift your rib cage, lift your belly, lift your hips, lift your thighs, come to your knees. Once here, you're actively pressing the ground away from you. So your upper back is puffing, front ribs drawing in, navel up and in. Stay here or tuck the toes, lift your knees. You'll come into a forearm plank. Yeah, everything in one long line from the heels to the crown of your head. Last breath. And then exhale, lower knees, thighs, hips. Come back to your Sphinx. Deep inhale breath. And then exhale, lower your forehead. Slide your palms to your shoulders, tuck your toes. And then press up either to a tabletop or plank. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. Take a big inhale breath. And then smooth exhale breath. Nice. One more big inhale. And smooth exhale. All right. Inhale, gaze forward. And then exhale, feet to meet your hands, top of your mat. Nice. Halfway lift, long, long spine. Halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. So lunging salutations. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling. You'll press through both feet. Different, hands towards your heart. Release your hands to your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Really nice. Inhale, arms extend all the way up, gaze up. And then exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Nice, find a halfway lift. Look forward, lengthen. Nice, this time hands flat. Step your right foot back. Keep the right knee lifted. You'll squeeze through the inner thighs. Rise up to your high lunge, crescent lunge. So Anjaneyasana. Nice, lift up and out of your waist. Kick an imaginary wall with your right heel. And then exhale, hands flat to the mat. Step back to a high plank. This time you'll shift forward, shoulders past your wrists, come high to your toes. On your exhale, bend your elbows halfway or lower all the way down. Inhale, untuck the toes, lift your knees, your thighs. You'll come to an up dog, cobra, or locust. On your exhale, shift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg extends. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Feet about hips width distance, rise all the way up, high lunge. So feel like you're wearing a jacket that's really super cute, but it's really small. You're trying to zip that up. So suck everything in, feel the pubic bone lift, and then arms reach. Nice, one more breath. And then hands flat, step forward, left foot to the top. Halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. And then exhale, deepen the fold. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling, upward facing salute. And then slide your palms towards your heart, release your hands to your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, arms extend all the way up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Okay, so you got a halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. And then exhale, hands flat, step your left foot back. Squeeze through the inner thighs, low belly strength, arms reach, lift your torso as you come to your high lunge. Once more, feel as if you're kicking an imaginary wall with your left heel. That's how engaged your left leg is. Yeah. On your exhale, hands flat to the mat, make your way back to a high plank. Nice. Inhale, shift forward, so come really high up onto your toes. Exhale, bend your elbows halfway or lower all the way. Use the full inhale, untuck your toes, knees, thighs lift. My apologies. Exhale, draw the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, left leg extends. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Jesus. Inhale, rise up to a high lunge, crescent lunge. So this is real life. Arms extend all the way up. So I want you to continue to extend through your right hip. So once more, feel as if you're lifting your kneecap up towards the ceiling. Now one more smooth breath. And then hands flat to the mat. This time you'll step forward towards the top of your mat. A really nice halfway lift, long spine. And then exhale, fold forward. Beautiful. Look at your feet. Smooth them as close as comfortable. You'll sit down low, find a chair pose or Utkatasana. So I kind of liken this shape to like a thunderbolt. As you do that, see that you can see all 10 toes past your knees. Shift more weight in towards your heels. Perhaps all 10 toes lift. Take one more big breath. Can you lower your hips just a little more? Feel the outer hips work. And then on your exhale, press firmly through both feet. Rise all the way to standing. There's a back bend here if you want it. And then hands towards your heart. Release your hands to your sides. Nice. Inhale, arms extend all the way up. Gaze up. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. Nice. Hands flat to the mat. Step your right foot back. Nice. This time, lower your right knee down. Okay. Inhale, low lunge, Ardha Anjaneyasana. Arms reach and extend. So I want you to lift up and out of your waist. And then as you do this, gently float your right palm down to the mat. Reach your left fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. So a little bit of a twist here. As you do this, press the ground away from you like you've done before. And then left shoulder has the leverage to draw a little further back. So you can let this be lazy, open up through the chest. So with the upper back, that tends to get tightened. And then as that happens, the front of the chest shortens, which also tightens. Stay here if this works for you, or option to bend your right knee heel towards your glute. You'll take your left hand, grab a hold of your foot if that feels accessible. Otherwise, you just work your hamstring, the back of your hip, kicking your heel. Yeah. One more big breath here. Really nice. Undo it, hands flat to the mat, step back. If you have an optional vinyasa here, as always, you're welcome to skip these. Lead the hips straight up and back to a down dog. As you're ready, we'll meet there. One more big breath. Really nice. This time, right leg extends up and back behind you. And then exhale, track your right knee over towards your right shoulder. A little bit of core strength here. Drive your right knee down towards your wrist. Oh my goodness. Now press it all the way back up, right knee lifts. Extend the right leg up and back behind you. And then exhale, step your right foot in between your hands, lower the left knee down. Find a low lunge, Ardha Anjaneyasana, arms reach and extend. Nice. This time, I want you to interlace your hands behind your low back. So draw the shoulders up, down, and back, pull back, chest broad. And then exhale, use the pull of your hands back as leverage to lift your heart up towards the ceiling. So a little bit of back bend here. Any amount of hinge into your hips forward and down. Go for that. As you feel the heart passively lift up. One more breath. And then rise all the way back up. Release your hands, frame your right foot. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and then step forward towards the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Nice. Inhale, arms extend all the way up towards the ceiling. Press through both feet. Really nice. Exhale, palms towards your heart. Release your hands to your sides. You got it. Inhale, arms extend all the way up. Gaze up. And then exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips. Halfway lift, look forward, lengthen. This time, hands flat, left foot back, lower your left knee down. Find a low lunge, Ardha Anjaneyasana, arms reach and extend. So lengthen through both sides of the waist. Dig down through your left shin. And then slowly set your left palm down to the mat, extend your right palm all the way up towards the ceiling. So as you continue to open up through the chest, press through the ground. You can also tent up through your fingertips as well. As you did so other side, you have several options. Bend your left knee, heel towards your glute, stay, or right hand will grab a hold of your foot if that feels accessible. You can tent up through the fingertips or place a palm onto a book, block. Lengthen through the right arm a little more. And then instead of just driving your heel towards your butt, kick into your hand. One more breath. Beautiful. Release, hands flat to the mat, step back. Vinyasa here if you want it. Otherwise, hips up and back, straight to a down dog. Full inhale into your back bend. And then full exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. All right, left leg extends up and back. This time you'll track your left knee over towards your left shoulder, hold it here. And then slide your knee down towards your wrist. Then back all the way up towards your armpit. And left leg up and back. Exhale, draw your foot in between your hands. Lower the right knee down. Lift your torso, arms extend all the way up. Okay, so continue to reach. Both sides of the waist stay really, really long. Nice, and then on your exhale, hands flat to the mat. Nice. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. And then, my apologies. Let's go ahead and not do that. Let's undo that. So come back to your low lunge. I forgot the bind on the other side. So interlace your hands behind your low back. Yeah, so you'll take the unusual grip. And draw the shoulders up, down, and back, pull back, chest lifts. And then any amount, use your hands as leverage, pull back. So the heart lifts up towards the ceiling. Tip your head back any amount. And as you dig down through the right shin, lift. And take one more smooth breath. Now for reals, release your hands to the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. And then step forward, right foot to the top. Beautiful, halfway lift, inhale. And then fold forward, exhale. Once more, feet as close as comfortable. Sit down low, find your chair pose. And then this time, lower all the way. We'll come in towards Navasana, boat pose, like we did in the beginning of class. So legs together, feet can be on the ground. Lean back far enough that you feel your low belly engaged. Stay or shins lift. Continue to keep the chest nice and broad. I want you to bring your hands out to press an imaginary wall away from you. And then notice the low back. Keep the spinal column long. Take a big inhale breath. And on your exhale, I want you to twist on over towards your right. Yeah, so make a firm point of contact with your left forearm to your right thigh. And then the right side of your waist has a tendency to shorten a little bit. See if you can keep that long. So chest has to lift. Yeah. Big inhale, make your way back towards center. We'll do this one more time. Twist on over to your left. So make a firm point of contact with your right forearm to your left thigh. And once more, notice the left side of the waist that wants to shorten. Lift up through your chest. One more big breath. Nice. Make your way back towards center. Hold. And then cross-fit your ankles. Bring your hands forward. Step back. Vinyasa or hips up and back straight to a downward facing dog. At any time, you also need to take a child's pose. Go for that. Now, but these vinyasas, they're all optional. You can always skip them at any time. Once you arrive in your downward facing dog, take 2 rounds of breath just to register the feelings of your body, noticing the breath cadence, seeing where it's at. Keep some regularity to the best of your ability. And then this practice is all about taking inventory and noticing. Now, one more breath here. Please. All right. Draw the right leg up and back in space. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Okay, so we'll set up for a warrior 1. This means that as you look at your left foot, scoot it in about a footprint and then turn and ground the heel so that the toes are pointing out to about, we'll call this 10-ish o'clock. Lift your torso, arms extend all the way up and overhead. So you have a little bit of a shorter stance in this standing pose. And then your back foot is not necessarily like warrior 2, so the foot is turned out to about 45-ish degrees. As you are here, take a big inhale breath, lengthen. And then exhale, straighten through the right leg. And we'll do this 2 more times. Rebend into your right knee. And then straighten through it. Now 1 more. Rebend through the right knee. Beautiful. And then straighten through it. Beautiful. As you keep this right leg straight, bring both hands down towards the ground, frame your right foot. If you need to, walk the left foot in a little closer so that the right leg straightens a little more. If you have a block or a book available to you and the low back is rounding a whole lot, forcing the upper back to completely disengage, just bring the ground a little closer toward you. And then as you are here in this pyramid pose, I want you to think about pulling the right heel to meet the left arch. And then the left arch wants to draw forward towards the top of your mat. Nice. Beautiful. Everyone, go ahead and press your left palm into the ground, tent up through the fingertips or hands to a book of block. Take your right hand to your right hip crease, and I want you to pull the right hip back so the left hip draws forward. Keep the pelvis neutral. Like we did before, option 1, your right hand to your low back. Option 2, reach the right palm all the way up towards the ceiling. Here you'll feel a little more through the outer right hip as you continue to draw the right shoulder up and back into space. Now take one more smooth breath. Continue to keep the right palm up. If you want to add the standing balance, go ahead and look at your left hand and then bring it about one giant print or one giant hand print in front of you. Start to bend into your right knee and then lift up through the left leg. You'll come into a revolved half moon. So I'll show you from this angle. So the left hip is working to lift the left leg, outer posterior, the back of the hip. Nice, one more breath. And then everything forward towards the top of your mat, right palm down, left foot forward. Really nice, halfway lift, inhale. And then exhale, hands flat, step back. Vinyasa here is available, or just shift the hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Use the full inhale, up dog, cobra, or locust. And then exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. You got it. Take a big inhale breath. Just recalibrate the breath. And then smooth exhale, let it go. Nice. All right, we'll do the other side. So left leg extends up and back behind you. And then exhale, draw your foot in between your hands. You'll set up your stance for your warrior 1. So right foot in, about a footprint, and then turn the toes out to about, we'll call this 2 o'clock. So you keep the lunge into your left knee, lift up and out of your waist. So once more, this is your stance. Not so much like a warrior 2. Hips roughly forward. They can be off at an angle because just hips are hips. They don't want to, they want to work how they want to work. Yeah? And then as you reach up through both palms, take a big inhale breath. And then exhale, straighten through the left leg. And we'll do this 2 more times. Rebend through the left knee. And then exhale, straighten through the left leg, arms extend up. Nice. One more, rebend through the left knee. And then exhale, straighten. Nice. As you keep both sides of the waist long, bring both hands, frame the left foot. Tent up through the fingertips, or once more, you can grab your block, your book, and then scoot the right foot in as you need so that the left leg stays relatively straight. Create the same action that you did on the other side. So it's as if you're dragging your left heel to meet the right arch, and then the right arch wants to come forward towards the top of your mat. Let's take one more big breath. And then from here, right hand has to press into something. That way you have leverage for the twist. Left hand to your left hip crease, neutralize the pelvis first. So pull the left hip, but with your index, your thumb. And then once more, option 1, hand to your low back. Option 2, reach the left palm all the way up towards the ceiling. And so you got one long line of energy from your right palm all the way through the left fingertips. So you have the option to stay here. You feel the outer left hip, or you'll add the standing balance. Move your right palm, big palm print forward, bend into your left knee, then squeeze through the right glute, lift your right leg. You'll come into a revolved half moon. Yeah, you got it. Really nice. Nice, straight. Press the ground away from you. Last breath. And then everything forward towards the top of your mat. Right foot down, left palm down. Nice. Halfway lift, inhale. And then exhale, hands flat, step back. Optional vinyasa, or hips up and back. Come straight to a down dog. Use a full inhale, up dog, cobra, locust. Exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Big inhale, breath, fill it up. Smooth exhale, breath, let it go. Yes, one more please, big inhale. And smooth exhale. Nice. All right, inhale, set your gaze forward. And then exhale, feet to meet your hands, come to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Nice. Once more, feet as close as comfortable. I like to keep them hips width distance. Sit down low. Once more, your chair pose. This time I'll have you interlace your hands behind your low back. So draw the shoulders up, down and back, pull back. And then keeping the bend into your knees, just drape your torso over your thighs. Allow the arms to draw all the way up and overhead. So this is more targeting the chest, opening up through the fronts of the shoulders, the front of the chest, and decompressing through the spine. So keep a bend into your knees. You know, one more big breath here. And then slowly undo it. Just bring your feet about outer hips width distance. You'll take your index, your thumb, rather your index, your middle fingers, so your peace fingers, and then hook them around your big toes. Keep a soft bend into your knees, and then pull on your big toes, find a halfway lift without releasing your grip. And then exhale, pull on your big toes, allow your elbows to bow out, head draws down. So once more, belly is in contact with the thighs. This is not about the hamstrings. We'll get to those in a bit. More about decompressing the low back. I like to add movement, swaying from left, right, left, shaking the head, yes, no, maybe. So you've got those options as well. Nice, one more big breath here. Nice, release your grip and just hands flat to the mat. Step back to a downward facing dog. Let's take a big inhale breath, fill it up. Smooth exhale breath, let it go. Nice. All right, go ahead and draw the right leg up and back in space. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Nice, go ahead and lower your left knee down. And then scoot the right hand to the inside of the right foot. I want you to wiggle the right foot forward and out, toes turn out to about 30-ish, 45-ish degrees. Okay. And then instead of keeping your hands pointing forward, I want you to walk them off of your mat towards the left side. Beautiful. From here, you'll bend into your left elbow, drop down to your left forearm. And then with your right arm, just start to reach it as far forward as you can, putting a little bit of pressure into your finger pads. So getting into the inner right hip, outer right hip, that's whole circumference as you dig down through your left shin. If this feels pretty intense, go ahead and scoot the left knee a little forward so the hips can come a little closer towards your body as opposed to a little further back. One more breath here. Nice. First, bring the right palm back towards center, lift up through your left forearm, and then walk your hands back. Nice. One more time. Press down through your left palm. Reach the right fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. Okay. Keep the chest open as you sink down a little lower. Allow the hips to be nice and heavy. Stay here or bend into your left knee. Grab a hold of your foot if that feels accessible. Otherwise, just actively drive your heel towards your glute. You go, one more big breath. Beautiful. Go ahead and come back to your palms. Scoot your right ankle all the way across your mat. We'll come in towards a pigeon pose. So even out the weight in your hips. You can stay or add the forward bend. If this is not working for your right hip or your right knee, your options are to do this in a different plane of motion. So instead of prone on your belly, you'll do this seated upright. So this will look like a seated figure four, right ankle up and over your left thigh. And then your left heel can be as far or as close to your body as you'd like. Or like we did in the beginning of class, you can stack your shins on top. Same exact stretch, you can hinge any amount. Take two more big breaths. Beautiful, one more. And then begin to rise all the way back up. Come all the way up to your palms. You'll tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. If you're in a different plane of motion, just meet us in down dog. Right leg comes up and back in space. And then exhale, right foot down. We'll do the other side, left leg up and back. And then exhale, step your foot in between your hands, lower the right knee down. Just left hand to the inside of your left foot. Once more, it's kind of like we're setting up for lizard, but not. So scoot the left foot a little forward and out, toes turn out. And walk your hands off your mat towards the right. First, bend into your right elbow, drop down to your right forearm, and reach your left palm as far as you can away from you. So I'm sinking my hips a little forward and down. If, again, this feels pretty intense for you, just scoot the right knee a little closer, shift the hips back. So this will just decrease the angle. Put a little bit of pressure into all 5 finger pads from your left hand. Okay, so one more smooth breath. Nice. First, draw your left hand back towards you, then straighten through the right arm. Walk your hands back towards center. And then press down through your left palm, right fingertips reach. Press down to your right palm, left fingertips reach. Yeah. Open up through the chest. Then stay, or bend into your right knee, heel towards your glutes. Or left hand grabs a hold of your right foot. Yeah, beautiful. You got it. So right palm down, Drake. Left fingertips up and back. Up towards the ceiling. So your left foot should be forward. Right knee back. Yeah. Right palm down, and then left fingertips open up. All the way up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Right heel. Yeah, beautiful. Nice. Right heel towards your glute if possible. Yes. You got it. One more breath. And then slowly undo it. Hands back to the mat. And so as you are on your palms, go ahead and scoot your left ankle all the way across your mat. So you're kind of creating a number 7 with your left leg. Once more, even out the weight in your hips. So notice if this side is feeling pretty tight, there's a tendency for all the weight to collapse over to the left. And this is not of any value to you if you're collapsed over. So instead, if this isn't working for you, just acknowledge that. You can stay lifted or crawl your hands forward, adding the forward bend. Or once more, take this in a seat, left ankle up and over your right thigh. So it's like a figure 4, or like we did in the beginning of class, stack your left shin on top of the right. We gotta just continue to decelerate. Notice the breath, notice where the mind is at. Don't worry, it's almost over. Take one more big breath here. Beautiful, go ahead and rise all the way back up. And this time, just go ahead and swing your right leg all the way around. I'm all about maximum efficiency, minimal effort. So legs will come out long in front of you. So Dandasana staff pose. Really nice. All right, sit up really, really tall. So this is called Matsyasana fish pose. So few options here. If you are at home, you got 2 blocks. You can place 1 block underneath the scapula and then 1 block underneath the head. Otherwise, we'll take the more active version. So 1 palm underneath each glute. You'll pick one side, bend that elbow, then the other. And then you'll use your arms, your elbows rather, as a shelf. As you press your palms, your forearms away into the mat, chest lifts. It's a little bit of spinal extension, back bending. Tip your head back and you mount. So again, we're targeting the chest, the fronts of the shoulders. As you dig down, feel the shoulder blades pinch together at your upper back. Take one more big breath. And then 1 palm at a time, gently release, recline all the way to your back. Nice. Bend both knees. Feet about hip width distance apart. And the knees over the ankles roughly. Hands will come to the sides of your hips to start. Take a big inhale breath. And then use the exhale to lift your pelvis, low back, mid back, upper back. Nice. Any arm variation that works for you, so you can grab for the edges of your mat. You can bend at your elbows, dig your triceps down, prop your chest up, or interlace your hands underneath. All right, I want you to shift weight into your left foot, extend the right leg all the way up. Notice how the right hip wants to drop, keep it lifted. Nice, then release the right leg down, shift weight into your right foot, lift the left leg. Keep the left hip level with the right. Beautiful. Left foot down, then everything all the way down. Nice. Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet to touch, knees out really wide. So we did this in the beginning of class seated. Now we're just on our backs. Hands to your hips, thighs, belly, heart, anything that feels good here. Just take a quick constructive rest, and this serves to neutralize the spinal column, also allows you to steady the breath. And take one more here. All right, go ahead and close both knees in together like a book. And as you draw both knees towards your chest, instead of hugging them, I want you to cross your right knee over the left. Okay, set your left foot down, lift your hips, and then move them over to the right. Knees fall over towards the left. So bound-legged supine twist, right arm draws up and out like a wing. If the bind is pulling on your low back, no worries. Just stack one knee on top of the other. Feel the low belly. Feel the belly. And just allow the right shoulder to be really heavy. Take one more big breath. Beautiful. Then make your way back towards center. Undo the bind in your legs. And as you draw both knees lightly towards your chest, left knee on top of the right, so you're crossing your legs. Set your right foot down, lift your hips, shift them over to the left, knees fall over to the right, and then left arm up and out like a wing. So if it's cool with your neck, you can gaze past the left shoulder as well. And once more, just feel the rib cage expand, contract. If the bind isn't working on this side, pulling on your low back, and just let it go. Stack one knee on top of the other. Take one more deep breath here. Beautiful. Transition your way back towards center. And close this out with Ananda Balasana, your happy baby. So both knees will draw towards your armpits. Hands to your shins, behind the hamstrings. The knees is totally cool, especially if the low back tends to lift. You can straighten your legs all the way up towards the ceiling, channel your happy baby there. Grab for the calves, ankles, anywhere that feels good. Maybe the feet. And just rock it out left, right, right, left. You're channeling your happy baby here. And then we'll do around the lion's breath together. Big inhale. And then stick out your tongue, exhale. All right, hug both knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Squeeze all the muscles in your face. Draw your forehead to your knees. Make yourself a tight, tight, tight little ball. And then release to your final posture. Shavasana, corpse pose. Arms out, legs out. Everything really, really heavy. Alternatively, if seated meditation works better for you, go for that. That is what I will opt for. And Shavasana in a digital setting tends to be kind of strange. So I will be talking just a little bit so that you know I am still here. But otherwise, in this final resting posture, I want you to just notice the entire back body, how heavy it is. If you're seated, just how heavy the sit bones are. And then it's almost as if you are melting into the ground past the ground. Let's continue to feel the entire body. Just noticing how it feels right now in comparison to the beginning of class. And just allow yourself the time, the space to rest, to be still. So oftentimes it can be difficult for us to find stillness or to achieve stillness. Like we punish ourselves for taking time to be still, just to do nothing. But instead of framing that as a punishment, you can think about it as something you do for self-preservation. You're filling up your own cup so that you will be able to show up for others. This is why something like Shavasana, seated meditation, is so, so, so crucial. As you continue to rest, just notice the breath. Keep it nice and slow, controlled. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly with each inhalation and each exhalation. As you continue to feel the entire back body, just acknowledge if your body is still telling you to stay resting. By all means, stay resting. Otherwise, begin to draw deep anchoring. Inhale through your nose. And deep anchoring, exhale out your mouth. And then as you rock your head from left, right, left a few times. In your own time, arms extend all the way up and overhead. Give yourself a nice big old full body stretch. And then transition over to your favorite side. Come into a supported fetal posture, utilizing your bicep as a pillow. And I want you to take a moment. Just thank yourself for taking time out of your day to be here on your mat, to be here in your body. And this practice is always here for you whenever you need it. When it feels right, press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maintain a softness in the gaze, your eyes to stay closed, allow the hands to meet towards heart center. Thank you all for sharing your practice, your energy, your presence, allowing me the honor to guide practice today. And together we draw the thumbs to third eye center, lift the chin up just a little higher. It's here where we acknowledge mutual love and respect for each other, for this practice, for this community, near and far. Thumbs towards the lips where we seal in the breath. And this also acts as a reminder for us to be compassionate, not only to ourselves, but to others. And finally, thumbs back to the heart where we feel our heartbeat. This reminds us that our hearts beat the same, our blood course is the same. There's nothing that separates you from me or me from you. It's also from this place that we bow forward to each other with love and with endless gratitude. Humbly to each of you, I bow forward to Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks for practicing.